Hey everybody, Robin here. I'm here to give a quick explanation around one of the core functions within Health Check-in, and that's experiments. In this video, I'll walk you through how to start an experiment, track it through future check-ins, complete it, and turn the results into something useful. Again, Health Check-in is built around a simple idea. You record how you're feeling, try something different, record the results, keep the history, and use that to modify your routine. All of this with as much automated context added as possible, with reminders to help keep you in your routine while taking a minimal amount of effort on your part and also keeping all of your information private. We will be walking through this using the free version of Health Check-in, so let's dive in. Experiments begin from a check-in. Hopefully, much of this is self-explanatory, but I'm going to briefly explain some of what we're seeing here. I start by rating how I'm feeling right now. This is the crux of the application. The idea is just that expressing how you're feeling in the form of a percentage at any given time is, while a bit arbitrary, the quickest and easiest way to do it. For anyone who is as busy and distracted as most of us are in our daily lives, spending more than even 60 seconds logging things in an app multiple times a day can be enough to prevent us from sticking with it for very long. I set my percentage, choose any reason tags that apply, and then add a note for context. Reason tags are optional, of course, and you can go into settings and customize them as you wish, add more, or just delete them altogether if you find that you aren't using them. Personally, I find myself using the note field as a journal. Remember, this is all private. Nothing ever leaves your phone until you export it, so put whatever you want in here. In this example, I'm going to be running through an experience that relates to an issue I've been dealing with for quite a while, and that's brain fog. Below the note field, there's an experiment section. I'll check the box next to Start a New Experiment. If I already know what I want to test, I can type it in directly. But if I wanted ideas, I can browse experiment templates. These are organized around common areas like sleep, supplements, diet, exercise, and recovery. For this example, because my nutritionist recommended that I try adding electrolytes to my daily routine, I'm going to choose the Electrolytes Daily template and use it as the starting point. I could have just typed that in, or if I wanted to be more specific, whatever, you could just type in whatever you want, but those are the templates that are there. Now I can set a follow-up reminder. That way, I'm not just starting something and forgetting about it. The app can remind me to check back in and record what happened. This is on top of my regular reminders that I can configure from within settings. Of course, you can check in at any time and as many times per day that you like, and link any of those check-ins to an ongoing experiment. I can also relate the experiment to an issue I'm fixing. You can see that I've already added an issue I'm fixing from within the Insights screen. This is optional, but helps keep the experiment tied to the actual problem I'm trying to solve. Once I save my check-in, it automatically takes me to the history screen where we can see the entry that I just made, plus any previous entries, if there are any. If you took the step to add your location previously, you can also see that the outside temperature and humidity was stamped at the top of our check-in. If you have either the Pro or Pro Plus AI version of the app, this will also include air quality and pollen information. On top of that, if you've connected whichever health app you're using, you'll see sleep data, heart health, and step counts from the previous day. At this point, the experiment is active. On the Today screen, I can now see the active experiment alongside everything else. This makes the experiment visible during normal app use, instead of being buried somewhere. The experiment also appears on the Insights screen. This is where Health Check-in keeps the bigger picture. Things I'm fixing, active experiments, completed experiments, and key results. So while the Today screen shows what matters right now, Insights is where I can review what I'm learning over time. After using the app for a few weeks or months, this can get to be pretty extensive, which is great. Later, when I come back for another check-in, I can link the new entry to the active experiment. I'm not ready to complete the experiment yet, but felt like adding a check-in with some relevant info on the experience so far. I'll rate how I feel again, choose any relevant tags, and add notes about what happened. In this case, let's say I'm checking in right after waking up the next day. I'm going to add a note about my experience. The important part is that I'm capturing the result close to when I actually experienced it. Once I've learned enough, I can complete the experiment. Let's now say that it's later that morning. I've made my conclusion, even though some experiments may well take more than a day or even a few days, and I'm ready to close the experiment. So I'm going to check in again. I actually noticed a real difference in mental clarity and energy after taking electrolytes first thing in the morning, so I add a note. I then hit complete next to the experiment. I'm then prompted to answer whether or not I learned anything. Whether I hit yes or no, I can add an additional note. In this case, I did learn something, so I'm hitting yes and adding a note. Since the experiment taught me something useful, I can save it as a key result. I hit save and get a little pop-up saying that the experiment has been completed. That result becomes part of my health history. If this had been a supplement that I tried where the result was a negative one, I would have recorded that here so that I'd have a reminder to not try it again later. Before using this app, admittedly, there were times when I would try using a supplement to help with an issue I was having, only to be reminded after the fact that I had already tried it at some point in the past and had just forgotten that it didn't work for me. This is where the app starts becoming more than a tracker. It becomes a place to collect what I've actually learned about myself. Back on the Insights screen, I can now see the completed experiment, as well as the key result. Over time, this becomes a personal library of what works, what doesn't, and what needs more testing. The next step is applying what I've learned. If a key result is useful, I can use it to adjust my routine. In this example, I learned that having electrolytes after I first wake up seems to be helpful, so I add it to my upon waking block. I can also enable the reminder for this block of time. If something helps before bed, I can add it to my evening routine. If something causes problems, I can remove it or create a different routine for recovery days or whatever other sort of day you might want to create. This closes the loop. Check in, start an experiment, track the result, save what works, build it into your routine. Again, health check-in is not medical advice and it's not meant to replace a healthcare professional, but it is designed to help you become more systematic about your own observations. Instead of guessing for months, you can test one change, track what happens, and gradually build a clearer picture of what actually helps you to feel better. Also, once you've done that, you will have better information to share with your doctor or nutritionist. That's the experiment workflow and health check in. I'm really hoping that this helps you on your journey to better health. Thanks for watching.